What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. I'm Forgotten Fables. We're going to go ahead and continue our arena run. As you saw last game, we pulled our wins to 5 and 2. We lost one, I want to say against a rogue? I think it was against a rogue. Don't remember off the top of my head. I don't know. Either way, we're sitting at 5 and 2. We win one more, we'll get at least a 2-to-1 win ratio, which isn't bad at all. And with my luck lately, it's actually better than I've been typically doing in arenas. I don't know why, but for some reason the arena just has not liked me lately. Anywho, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Let's see what we're up against. Another paladin. Alright. Well, let's hope he didn't get a bunch of powerful weenies. We kind of got shafted in that department. Most of our power wound up being, the 4 drops, and with the 4 and 5 drops, which means we're not really going to be able to play multiple. We're not going to be able to play several characters all at once. We did get Mad Bomber, and we're going second. So, because he didn't play anything, I think it'd be wise. Actually, no, we are going to go ahead and coin Mad Bomber. And that went as really 50. Like, such a low chance. He has 2 shots to, 2 targets to hit, and then he hits me 3 times in a row.
Put this apple on your head.
Oh well. Shit happens. We can just go like this. Basically, what that amounted to was him hitting me once with a knife juggler, which sucks, but is what it is.
Don't mess with Tusker.
Is what it is. So, we're gonna go ahead and go like this.
This is my responsibility.
So we can wipe that out. We want to clear the board. We do not, because he would have gotten Blessing of Kings this round, we do not want to let him get, control over something like that. We want to kind of keep his board clear. Paladins absolutely hate that. If you can't get it with Paladins, if you don't have the spells to back it up, having an empty board is actually a very bad thing. Wager he's probably gonna run into the wolf, which not a terrible idea. We're gonna lose it anyway. Actually, between the two, odds are he's probably going to, if he's going to attack one with his True Silver Champion, he's going to run into the 3-3. Oh no. So he's just going to try and clear my board that way. That's not bad. A bit of a waste on his part, but not a huge one. Damn, why can't this be, we'll go like that. I was kind of hoping I'd had 1 more mana, because then I could have played Earthen Ring Farseer and Alarma Bot, so that it would have tossed out either Spiteful Smith or, okay. I do not agree with that at all, because Spiteful Smith is really, I think it's a good card, don't get me wrong, but there are, excuse me, there are, much better targets, especially considering it's, you know, it was my turn 6.
My shield.
He
for
could have
Argon.
actually,
Let the pain speak to me.
that's what I'm looking for. He could have actually hit my, ogre, Polterfist ogre. I don't know why I could not think of that name. So, I think what we're gonna have to do here.
I wonder. Tadingo! Yes!
We're gonna.
Smash!
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and attack that. And we're gonna use that. And we're not going to enrage our Spiteful Smith just yet. Because the main reason is because I can actually go through and, you know, Blessing of Kings it so it'll actually do some damage. If I use Blessing of Kings, I can kill that 4/4.
Let me think.
And effectively it will have cost me basically nothing. My Spiteful Smith will still be will actually be more stronger. Ooh. Okay. Why would you do that? Why would you enrage it for me? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think we are going to go ahead and cast this here. It's going to leave it with only 3, but it means he has to sacrifice both of those to get rid of it. And I have another one in my hand anyway. However, he does have 5 cards in his hand to my 2, which is part of the problem with this deck. Is like I really didn't get good cards that enabled me to do a heck of a lot. So, yeah. Of course, it's probably, yep, you can use it on that. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. That's irritating. Okay. It's always the faceless manipulator. That thing can actually go and really win you games. Alright. That really sucks. But
Bend to my command! Suffer!
yeah, we're gonna have to go like that. Unfortunately, that's gonna let him draw a whole bunch of cards, but if we could get our True Silver Champion, we could make this work.
Let me think.
But yeah, this is gonna be the end of this run.
To Northrend!
Definitely gonna be the end of this run. Yeah, that faceless manip on that is that's
Well played.
that's GG.
Well played. Reporting for duty.
Well, unfortunately, this is gonna be a very short video because that was the end of that one. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and start another one. I've got 450 gold. We should be getting a decent amount here. Let's see what we can get. Turn. Pack. 55. I really don't like it. I really wish the arena would not give you just straight up cards or dust. That, to me, it feels really cheap. But it is what it is. I'm not the one that designed the game, so unfortunately, how I feel it should be done has very little bearing on it. Look at all the sparkles. Show me potato salad. Crappy pack. Very crappy pack. Oh well. Go into my collection. I know I have multiples of several of those. No, I haven't disenchanted in a while. Whoops. That brings us up to 800 gold, or 800 dust. We'll be able to craft something soon enough anyway. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into the next arena, shall we? Choices: Mage, Rogue, and Warlock. We're gonna go ahead and go with mages. With a mage, because like Warlocks are kind of bad in arena. Like they're very good and constructed, but anytime I play them in arena, I just get shafted. Mages are considered one of the best, considered one of the best classes in arenas right now, just because they have so much, so many spells and whatnot to use, and hell, most of their spells are efficient and common. So we're gonna go ahead and use mage. I do terrible every time I take a rogue. And our first spell, we get an epic. Actually, give me just a second here. Alright. Sorry, I wanted to pull up a draft list. Oh, whoops. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Just a sec. And we're back. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. So, our three epics are Big Game Hunter, Mountain Giant, Spellbender. Mountain Giant, none of these are particularly amazing for mages. Most of the epics, when it comes to mages anyway, are actually pretty bad unless you get Pyroblast, which obviously is broken, or Faceless Manipulator. Mountain Giant, because mages tend to just constantly throw a lot of their cards out, like they're usually spending a bunch of cards and drawing a bunch of cards, so this one usually does not, usually Mountain Giant is actually largely considered one of the worst giants, unless you're playing, don't know why I can't think of it. Unless you're playing priests who can generate a whole bunch of cards in their hands, etc., it's considered one of the worst ones. Of these three, though, Spellbender's considered below average, and Big Game Hunter actually has its uses. I mean, it's a 4/2, which kind of sucks, but it can take out any of the giants just by playing it for 3, so we're gonna go ahead and take that. I believe in our first video, it was either in our first arena run or our second one, that we talked about how bad Wisp is. Last game you saw, or earlier in this video, you saw just how solid Acolyte of Pain can be, particularly with a Paladin. And Mirror Entity. Mirrored Entity is okay. It's considered average, but because not only is it fairly easy to figure out which secret it is, if you consider, if you actually sit and think about it, you can figure out that, oh, I just played a Mirror Entity, I am going to play this one cost, so I absolutely screw you over. It can, in the later game, absolutely save you if your opponent plays like Ragnaros without thinking about whether or not that's a Mirror Entity or not. So we are we're not going to take one this time because we have an Acolyte of Pain here, and Acolyte of Pain is actually very good, especially on a mage because I can just use my fireball and hit it, fireball it, so knock it down to a 1/2, but I draw a card, so I can use it when I want to draw cards as opposed to my opponent forcing me to take forcing me to only be able to draw one card from it. Frostbolt, Murloc Tidehunter, Spellbreaker. Spellbreaker is one of the better silencing cards because you get a 4/3 minion attached to it. Murloc Tidehunter, it's okay. It's honestly not bad. It's a 2/1 and a 1/1 for 2 mana. 2 minions for effectively a 3/2 for 2 is not bad. I mean, they're both weak creatures, and they can be wiped out by, a mage can just pick them off without really worrying about them. They have their uses, but because there's a Frostbolt, and that is just a broken good card, always going to take that. Acidic Swamp Ooze, we talked about that last time. 3/2 for 2 with a battle cry to destroy your opponent's weapons. You always, or almost always, want to take at least one of these, just as kind of an insurance against warriors, against rogues. If rogues, throw out a cheap dagger or throw out an assassin's blade and then double deadly poison it, Acidic Swamp Ooze, and you just make them cry. Voodoo Doctor, not very good. It's a 2/1 for 1 with a battle card restore 2 health. You can do some cheeky things with it, but usually it'll usually not trade out very well. More often than not, you're basically paying 1 to restore 2 life on something and then watch it die to a 1/1, or either a 1/1 or just as collateral damage to something. And another Frostbolt. I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna risk it and take an Acidic Swamp Ooze instead of a second Frostbolt. Normally 2 or 3 Frostbolts is really good. Lets you, not only weaken bigger creatures, but you can stall them out until you can draw an answer. We got Scarlet Crusader, Shattered Sun Cleric, Loot Hoarder. Scarlet Crusader, 3/1 for 3 with Divine Shield. This is actually a pretty solid, really solid card, just because of the Divine Shield. If it didn't have the Divine Shield, even for 2, I wouldn't take a 3/1. A Loot Hoarder, 2/1, draw a card. It is what it is. It's not bad. It's not fantastic. It's among the better 2-drops because of that draw card. And Shattered Sun Cleric, it's just effectively a 4/3, but you can buff something else. So if you play Scarlet Crusader, you can make that a 4/2 with Divine Shield, effectively turning it into an Argent Commander without charge. So it's Scarlet Crusader or Shattered Sun Cleric is really good. On the Anti-Gravity Arena Draft tier list that I have up on my other screen, these two are considered above Loot Hoarder. Loot Hoarder's good, but I think I'm going to go ahead and take we'll take a Scarlet Crusader, because usually those are irritating to deal with. Stormwind Knight, Arcane Missiles, Mirror Image. Arcane Missiles isn't bad. 3 damage, especially if you wind up getting a lot of spell power and whatnot. Stormwind Knight is one of the most undervalued cards, I feel, because it doesn't hit hard, but usually at 4 drop you can trade it out for you can trade it out for usually like 2 or 3 smaller creatures, or an enemy you trade it out for a small creature, and then the enemy will run a larger creature that this won't quite kill into it, but still any damage is good damage. And Mirror Image is definitely, it's a cheap taunt, and that can be really obnoxious to deal with, especially if you get multiple of them. Bluegill Warrior, War Golem, Priestess of Elune. I am not a fan of War Golem. War Golems 7/7 for 7 with no abilities. You can get Boulder Fist Ogre a 6/7 for 7 or for 6 mana, and that it's War Golems usually considered just average or bad, and Boulder Fist Ogre, because it's a 6/7 for 6, is way better. Is one of the more efficient ones, because you have to wait another turn for this. It's usually not worth it. Bluegill Warrior 2/1 for with charge for 2 is just it doesn't trade well. It's usually just going to run into something and die, and it's usually not worth it. Like, it usually does not trade well with other 2-drops and whatnot. On the contrary, Priestess of Elune is a 5/4 for 6 that's just ugh. It's not good either. All 3 of these are just pretty bad. If you'll forgive me here for a second. I'm going to scroll this down so I can actually see something. There we go. So, on the anti-gravity tier list, Priestess of Elune, considered usually bad. Bluegill Warrior, just considered flat-out bad. War Golem, sadly, is considered the highest of the 3 at below average. So we'll take the War Golem, even though I really don't want to. Just because it's late game beef, and the other 2 are just god awful. I mean, 6 mana for a 5/4 is terrible, especially because it doesn't. As a 5/4, it doesn't have charge. It heals you for 4. Woo. At that point, most things, usually what your opponent has on the field is going to be hitting you for way more than 4 per each turn. So we got Reckless Rocketeer, Frostbolt, and Sorcerer's Apprentice. Again, really want to take another Frostbolt. Sorcerer's Apprentice is good, but it doesn't trade well. The spells cost 1 less. Can be useful if you can get it up behind a taunt wall. Usually, like turn 3, you can drop this, play Mirror Image for free. Or turn 2, you can drop this, play Mirror Image for free, or play a 1 mana Frostbolt on turn 3. But I'm going to go ahead and take a second Frostbolt. That's probably what's going to come back, and that, if anything, is going to come back and bite me in the ass, but it is what it is. Let's see, Reckless Rocketeer, Young Dragonhawk, Mirror Entity. I don't think I actually talked about Reckless Rocketeer last time. It's a 5/2 for 6 with charge. It's not that good. It's more useful than the Priestess of Elune, just because like the tier list rates it at average. It's got 5 attack, meaning it's going to be able to take out a lot of things, but it's not going to survive, and that it's really easy to kill. So it's usually used as a kind of an expensive removal per se, or if you have like a weenie and your opponent left has a big beefy bastard, you run the weenie into it, run the Reckless Rocketeer into it, and call it a day. Young Dragonhawk is just awful. Yeah, it's a 1/1 with Wind Fury, which means it can attack twice each turn, but it's a 1/1. Unless you have ways of buffing that, it's usually not worth it. Paladins, yeah. Priests, definitely. Hell, even druids and shamans can buff it. But it's only got 1 HP, meaning it's really not going to be able... it's not going to kill anything on its own without help. So we're going to take a Mirror Entity. We get rares. We've got Pint-Sized Summoner, Mind Control Tech, and Knife Juggler. Pint-Sized Summoner is kind of disappointing. It used to be a 2/3, which meant it was really fucking good, because 3 health for 2 meant you could trade efficiently with it, and you usually got to keep it for at least 1 turn, and it also made it more difficult to remove. Knife Juggler is almost like pseudo taunt, because people are terrified of this thing, which amuses the hell out of me. And Mind Control Tech's actually pretty solid, especially if your opponent gets usually has a bunch of weenies out and a big giant Buko monster, because it hey, it might take that big Buko monster. If it doesn't, shit happens. So we're going to go ahead and take the Knife Juggler because it's the best of the three. Mana Worm, Bloodfen Raptor, Ironbeak Owl. Ironbeak Owl is considered below average. It's got silence, but it's easy to remove, and it just kind of goes hurt blet real fucking quick. Bloodfen Raptor, solid for a 2-drop. It's a 3/2, but doesn't have charge. Can be removed by, can be killed pretty easily. We'll trade for slightly, stronger things, but it's not that fantastic. I want to say it's considered above average just because it's 3/2 for 2, but in the long run, it's not it's not incredible. Arcane Explosion, another Mirror Image, and Cone of Cold. Cone of Cold's considered above average. Mirror Image is actually only considered usually bad, but it's listed as can be has the potential to be valued higher than the tier list ranks it. Arcane Explosion is actually, I want to say, considered just straight up bad. So we'll take Cone of Cold because having the ability to aim where I want and freeze what I want is really good. Corehound, Bloodfen Raptor, Fairy Dragon. We talked about Bloodfen Raptor. Fairy Dragon is Bloodfen Raptor, only better, because it can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. I mean, this means you can't buff it, but I mean, it means that your opponent can't use spells and whatnot that target in order to wipe it out. They have to run a creature into it, or they have to use AoE, which is usually considerably more expensive and much more inefficient. Corehound, I believe we talked about Corehound last arena run. It's just bad. It's 7 for a 9/5. It's just too easy to remove for 7 mana. So we're going to go ahead and take a Fairy Dragon. Ouch. Sorcerer's Apprentice, Grimscale Oracle, Bluegill Warrior. Grimscale Oracle gives all other Murlocs +1 attack. This includes your opponent's Murlocs, so terrible. Bluegill Warrior, talked about that earlier, garbage. Sorcerer's Apprentice, still, actually, this is the best of the three here. Another Knife Juggler, Violet Teacher, and Alarmabot. We are going to take a Violet Teacher because we have, 1, 2, 3, 4... We've got 4 spells already, and we're not even halfway through our deck. We already have a Knife Juggler. Having 2 is really nice and can be extremely powerful, but Violet Teacher is a 3/5 for 4. And anytime we cast a spell, we gain a weenie to run into something. Let's see, River Crocalist, Frostbolt, Mirror Image. River Crocalist, same thing as Bloodfen Raptor. River Crocalist is considered below average just because it's 2/3 with no abilities. If it was a 3/2, it would just be a Bloodfen Raptor for 2. Yay! Frostbolt's really good. Mirror Images is irritating to an opponent. You can stall out if they have just one big creature that's a pain in the ass to deal with. We're going to take a sec... actually, we already have 2 Frostbolts. We don't have any spell power. We will take a second Mirror Image. I'm probably going to wind up regretting that, but so be it. Nightblade, Reckless Rocketeer, Direwolf Alpha. Talked about Reckless Rocketeer already. Nightblade's another one of those really just not that good of cards that aren't that good. It's 5 for a 4/4 when you can get Chillwind Yeti, a 4/5 for 1 mana less. It's like, oh, it deals 3 damage to the enemy hero. If that was deal 3 damage to, deal 3 damage to a target, then I would totally be in love with this card. But because it's only deal 3 damage to the enemy hero, that's not that big of a deal. It's not that useful. Not for 5 for an inefficient creature. Direwolf Alpha, 2/2 for 2. Adjacent minions on its left and right get +1 attack. That's really powerful. That can make our Mirror Images actually hurt. Into Goldshire Footman. Arcane Intellect, Cone of Cold, Polymorph. Polymorph is one of the most infuriating cards to deal with ever. Arcane Intellect is under usually good. Cone of Cold is under, where is it? Cone of Cold is above average. Polymorph is considered great. Chillwind Yeti, Fireball, Flamestrike, Frostbolt, and Harvest Golem and Water Elemental are all considered the top picks for a mage. Mad Bomber, we already talked about Corehound, we just talked about Polymorph, we just took a Polymorph. Mad Bomber is good, Polymorph is great. We're going to take a second Polymorph because usually that gives us a little more freedom when using it, and kind of lets us do what we want with. We can be a little more lenient on what we throw, what we burn a Polymorph on. Demolisher, Imp Master, and Master Swordsmith. For mages, Master Swordsmith is, let's see, where is it? It's considered usually bad. Imp Master is okay, or actually it's good, because, I mean, 1/5, it deals 1 damage to itself and creates a 1/1. You can use it to pick off something and then still get a 1/1 as long as it's alive. And Demolisher's okay. It's just it's a 1/4 for the same cost as Imp Master, and it just randomly shoots out something. This can be good if you get it turn 3 and your opponent really doesn't have anything, but it's also not fantastic. So, we're going to go ahead and take the Imp Master. Flesh-Eating Ghoul, Oasis Snapjaw, Water Elemental. Flesh-Eating Ghoul is actually only considered average, or no, it's considered above average because it gets more powerful whenever a minion dies. Oasis Snapjaw, good in a hunter deck if you have like Houndmaster, but ultimately not really that good. Water Elemental, fantastic. It's a 3/6, freezes any character for 4. It's one of the most efficient creatures. Fen Creeper, Frost Elemental, Sorcerer's Apprentice. I really like Fen Creeper. It's considered usually a good pick. Frost Elemental's a 5/5 that lets you freeze something for 6. It's good, but when you consider that you can get Chillwind Yeti for 2 less mana and only 1 less attack, really, it's just inefficient. Another Sorcerer's Apprentice. We already have one. I don't really see much of a reason in taking 2. We're gonna go ahead. We're also, other than our mirror images, we have 0 taunts. So we're gonna go ahead and take the Fen Creeper. Stone Tusk Boar, Stormpike Commando, Stormwood Champion. Stormpike Commando is considered average because of that. Like that's its most redeeming factor. Stone Tusk Boar is pretty bad. It's I can't even come up with a way of saying it's not. Stormwind Champion is a fantastic card. It's ranked. Its ranked is usually good because it makes all your other minions better. Yeah, it's expensive, but what it does can absolutely save you. Absolutely save you if you have like a bunch of creatures. If you have like one large creature that your opponent, if your opponent has like one large creature and you have just barely too little damage to deal it, Stormwind Champion can put you over the edge with that. Let's see, Raging Worgen, Grimscale Oracle, Cult Master. We already talked about Grimscale Oracle. Terrible. Raging Worgen is usually considered bad. It's for a mage, it's good because you have a way of enraging it. And Cult Master is also considered good. We don't really have anything in the way of card draw, so I would normally trend more towards Cult Master, but because we're a mage, we're going to go with Raging Worgen because we can just spend 2 mana. We can play it and then spend 2 mana, ping it, and just absolutely go nuts. Because as long as it's damaged, it gets +1 attack, meaning as long as this health is below 3, so it automatically becomes a 4/2 that can attack twice. Wisp, god awful. Shield Bearer, god awful unless you're a priest. And Raging Worgen, again, we just took one. We're gonna go ahead and take a second one. Young Dragonhawk, again, absolutely terrible. Arcane Explosion is considered bad, like just not worth it to take. Especially considering we're a mage and we can just pay. If we're trying to get rid of something that's behind a taunt wall, we can just ping it anyway. Yeah, that's to everything, but we may want a little more discretion. Say the enemy has a raging worgen, and we don't want to piss it off. So sadly, out of these three, I'm going to take a mirror image. Kind of disappointed that we're at 26. We haven't seen a Flame Strike or Blizzard yet, or Fireball or Pyroblast. We are sadly going to be a very weak mage in terms of we've got a lot of defensive spells, but we don't really have much in the way of AoE or board clear, which really is going to hurt, to be perfectly honest. Fairy Dragon, Mana Worm, Frostwolf Grunt, doesn't trade well. It's, dies to some 1-drops, dies to most 2-drops, and dies to pretty much everything above that. So, we're going to go with another Mana Worm, because if we can get a Mana Worm early enough, and then just start pumping it up with casting Frost Bolts, or Mirror Image will bump it up. We're going to go ahead and take another Frostbolt. We actually have a solid amount of minions and whatnot. Magma Rager, Ventrico Mercenary, Silverhand Knight. Magma Rager, absolutely fucking terrible. It's a 5/1 for 3, okay? It does not have charge. That means you play it, and your opponent can just pick it off with whatever weenie they happen to have handy, and just kind of ignore it. Or throw just about any taunt up and laugh as it fails horribly to get through it. Ventrico Mercenary, very powerful, gives us, tempted to take it because it gives us a 7/6 creature to kind of go along with our War Golem. Yeah, it makes all of our other minions cost 3 more, which rather sucks. But, it's a really good card, no matter what, as long as you're smart about it. Silverhand Knight, it's a great card, but with you given the choice between it or Ventrico, I'm going to go with Ventrico. Oh, thank God. We got Sunwalker, Blizzard, Pint-Sized Summoner. These two are both considered great. This is considered below average? Yeah, below average. I absolutely love Sunwalker. It is a fantastic card. Taunt plus Divine Shield on a Chill Wind Yeti. Unfortunately, we have 3 mirror images. That gives us 6 taunts. We don't have any AoE. We have Cone of Cold. That's it. So I cannot justify taking Sunwalker. I have to take Blizzard. Anyway, that's our deck. Let's see what happens. You can see down there before I click start, our mana curve was geared very, very heavily towards the early game because unfortunately 90% of what it gave me, if it was a more expensive card, it was usually crap. And yeah. Sadly, our deck is pretty much like the antithesis to mage decks, which really sucks.
You asked for it.
But you got to play with what you get. Anyways, we're gonna go first. We're gonna be fighting a paladin. This can be potentially very bad. We do not have a silence. We do not have we have 2 polymorphs. That's Sark, cough, cough, silence. We're gonna go ahead and throw away the Stormwind Champion. We get both of our... Oh. Fine. Jerk. We're gonna throw down a Mana Worm because even if he coins out most 2-drops, if he coins something out, or if he waits and plays a Knight, or that, we'll just poke it.
Wanna blow something up?
Well, that really sucks. So if you'll notice, I shot that once, meaning he cannot trade it efficiently, and I just attacked him. Therefore, I guaranteed the damage against the mana worm. But now, if he wants to trade it out, that's going to die one way or the other. He can. What that did is let me. If he doesn't run his Mad Bomber into my mana worm, which it looks like he's going to, it basically let me keep the mana worm without. It let me keep the mana worm without actually, because I could have killed his Mad Bomber with a Fire Blast. Would have let me keep the mana worm alive, and just ping off his Mad Bomber while leaving me with a superior board position. As you noticed, he didn't want that.
You love my new recipe.
Why would you do that?
That was a mistake.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Put this apple on your head.
So we're gonna go like this. Mirror image, which makes that bigger, and also gives me boop.
I'm sorry.
Locked and loaded.
Yeah, pick that off. No doubt about that. We can hope that, damn it! This guy's just lucky. So, we're gonna go like this.
Hey, catch!
Job's done.
Come on, hit that. Damn it! I don't know why my Knife Juggler will not hit any of his minions. That's really annoying. Not a big deal, though.
Tazdingo! Yes.
That, however, is... Here's where we just prove to be extremely obnoxious. We'll run those into that. The main reason I wanted to get rid of the Worthless Imp was to clear up a little bit of space. He cannot, unless he plays something from his hand, he cannot break, or he will not be able to that was just okay. I mean, you played it, which kind of sucks, but not that big of a deal.
Silver Moon shall not fall.
That's going to be obnoxious, though. So we are going to actually just go ahead and play this. So we can go boop.
Join
Boop.
or die.
And boop.
Done.
I am unfortunately, like, I'm out of cards, and that was a very good pull for him.
Reporting for duty.
Not a huge deal, though, because we're just gonna trade
or
that,
die.
poke that, get that out. I mean, honestly, this board is just begging to be consecrated. That's why I'm not playing the mirror image. Because otherwise I'm just handing him 2/0/2s.
justice.
See, he keeps really relying on, we are actually going to go ahead and go like this. This really, puts the pressure on him
Well played.
because he can't break through these easily. And, with that, he's got, he's dead next turn unless he can wipe my board.
I'm ready. I'm not ready.
Join or die.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, we'll just blizzard. Run that into him. I'm just not gonna mess around. Well, can't argue with that result. Not excited about the way the deck deck rolled out, but it is what it is. We're gonna go ahead and jump right on into our second game of this one. This means this video will probably wind up a little long, but can't really complain too much.
Kerayna versus Anduin.
The light shall bring victory.
You asked for it.
Alright, we're just gonna toss both of those. We're against a priest, which is absolutely irritating. There's two classes I hate the most, and that's mages and priests. Druids can be really irritating if they manage to stall out long enough to the point where they're just getting nothing but stupid powerful creatures, or constantly being able to heal slash buff the crap out of their creatures so it's impossible to kill the damn things. Northshire Cleric is one of the most infuriating creatures out there. We are, however, going to go like this because we can kill that next turn. At worst, we kind of basically, we don't really want him to play anything. Oh, what's he pointing out? May give us a better target for Frostbolt. Yup, that's the thing. That really sucks, actually. So, we're gonna have to risk this. And if that thing... Yep, I kinda had a feeling that was gonna hit. If he runs his, If he runs his Demolisher into it, we'll just burn another...
Not quite what was planned.
Yeah, we'll just burn our Frostbolt on it. Oh, fuck, I forgot. Oh wait, no, I can still kill it. Yeah, okay. We are just going to go... Boop. Boop. So, what we're going to do next turn, unfortunately, like you can see, he's got a much bigger, better... Oh, actually, we're probably going to go just Ventrico Mercenary. Actually, Sorcerer's Apprentice, Mirror Entity, or no, Mirror Image, excuse me. We're gonna go ahead and put our Direwolf Alpha between these.
Well played.
why I fucking hate priests.
You gotta be
Oh well.
kidding me!
Job
We'll
done.
throw that down. Force him to deal with it. But who knows? He's a fucking priest. He may just
You
go.
shall not pass.
That works too. Fucking hate priests so much. Yep, he's gonna give it +2 attack. He's not going to run into that. Oh, yep, nope. Of course he isn't. Just gonna go like this. Play the Raging Worgen. Force him to do something about it. If he, That's why I fucking hate priests. Yeah, like that. That.
Well played.
$5 says he's got like Mind Blast or something. Nope, nope, go figure. Fuck him. Fucking priest. Hate priests. Whenever I play a mage, I get absolutely dicked over on cards, but oh, other people can play mages, get like 2, 3 flame strikes, 5 fucking polymorphs, 3 fireballs, and just absolutely murder somebody, but I can't get shit. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.